While we have been diverted about other things, a bill that would have banned assault style or military style weapons in Virginia has been defeated in the Virginia State Senate yesterday. Remember what all the talk was for a while, that since the Democrats had taken over the government in Virginia, the legislature as well as the governorship and the executive offices there, that the state was going to pass some sensible gun control bills. The most restrictive of those bills would be one that banned military-style weapons. But of course, you probably knew it would never happen, even though the Democrats were in control. We, the United States, the people of this country, I don't care what the talk is, it doesn't make any difference. We will never, ever turn away from military-style assault weapons. Never. There's something in the American psyche that is so fucked up where it concerns guns. And the only use we will have for those guns is against each other. It's that simple. There is no other use for those types of multi-round magazines where you have 13, 15, 19, 30 shots that you can get off by holding the trigger down or squeezing it rapidly. There's no other purpose for those except killing a lot of people in a very short time. Now, everyone who owns one of those weapons in the United States, the only people that can be killed are their fellow Americans. That's not hard shit, is it? Huh? Is that hard? No, it isn't. The the defeat of this bill that would have banned military-style weapons was also a defeat to the governor there, Ralph Northam's efforts to restrict these type of weapons in the hands of civilians. But you know what the gun lobby says? Well, that's taking away the Second Amendment. I believe, I've said this before, I believe in the Second Amendment. I believe the Second Amendment should be holy, sacrosanct, untouchable. I think everybody should have weapons that were in vogue when the Second Amendment was written. You can have as many muzzle loaders, you assholes, as you want. 50 of them, 1,000 of them, I don't give a shit. But you can have the weapon that the framers were talking about when the Second Amendment was enacted. No, you don't want to do that, do you? You cowardly pieces of shit, you gun nuts. You don't want to do that. I'm making you an offer. All the muzzle loaders you want, all the single shot rifles you want. Jesus. The prohibition on these military weapons was the centerpiece of the Democrats in the Virginia House of Delegates' attempt to restrict firearms after a gunman fatally shot 12 people in Virginia Beach last May. We don't remember that, do we? There's been so goddamn many of them. That was almost a year ago. Do you know how many mass shootings there have been since then? Multiple shootings. A mass shooting, I guess the statisticians say any shooting where at least 3 people are either wounded or killed. According to the reports I have here, the assault weapons bill that was rejected yesterday by the Virginia legislature would have prohibited the sale, purchase, manufacture, or transfer of military-style weapons, as well as large-capacity magazines holding more than 12 rounds. Men who go hunting rabbits and deer and pheasant must have more than 12 rounds they can squeeze off, right? Christ. The bill also would have banned trigger activators, including those so-called bump stocks that were designed to make weapons simulate automatic machine gun fire. Now, it's simulation to the person holding the trigger. It's death and destruction to the people being gunned down. But, never mind. Never mind. This is the fucking United States. We will have our guns. We will have our racism. We will have our fascism. And it's all coming together under this monster in the White House, which I'll get to a little bit later in today's podcast. 4 Democrats on the 15-member Senate Judiciary Committee in Virginia, 4 Democrats joined 6 Republicans in voting, nah, we don't want to ban military-style weapons in Virginia. What the fuck? How are these hunters going to be able to kill their bunnies and pheasants and Bambis, Nah. 4 Democrats, 6 Republicans. What they voted to do was to send it to a state commission, not a committee in the Senate or the House, but a state commission for further study. May I ask a question? Thank you. What the fuck do you need to study about a military-style weapon ban? It kills people, big amounts of people, and it's usually being handled by a fucking nut. Either a Christian nut or a white racist nut or an anti-Semitic nut. What needs to be studied? Just kidding. The bill is likely to be debated again next year, according to Virginia lawmakers. The Democrats who voted, we want those military-style weapons, represent both suburban and urban areas. And each of the 4 had supported gun control measures in the past. But one of the Democrats, a guy named R. Cray Deeds, one of the Democrats, Mr. Deeds, said there was discomfort in enacting an outright ban because lawmakers had failed to arrive at a consensus definition of what constitutes an assault weapon, despite weeks of trying. They just couldn't figure it out. Mr. Deeds said there remained, quote, a lot of questions, end quote, about the definition of an assault weapon. Do you hear that? These legislators in Virginia, according to this Democrat who said, no, we want to keep the assault weapons, they voted that way because they, gosh darn it, just couldn't come to a definition of an assault weapon. Are you fucking kidding me? The initial version of this bill that was defeated Monday in Virginia would have prohibited all assault-style weapons in the state, which would have required owners to turn them in. Ooh, Hitler, Nazis, Soviet Union, Stalin, ooh. Gotta have our assault weapons. But that version of the bill that required people who owned these weapons of mass death to turn them in, that version was overhauled to allow owners to keep their weapons. However, it banned new sales and transfers of adult assault-style weapons. Good little white rednecks, you can keep your assault weapons. Mommy's not going to take your toys away from you. It's okay. Now get your thumb out of your mouth or your ass, wherever you have it, and stop pouting. You get to keep your guns, your big murdering guns. Also yesterday, Philip Van Cleve, who is the president of the Virginia Citizens Defense League. Rah! That's the group that organized the massive gun rights rally at the Virginia State Capitol last month. Well, Philip praised the vote on Twitter. He did. Van Cleve wrote that the rally, as well as the declaration by more than 100 counties and municipalities across the state, as so-called Second Amendment sanctuaries. You're welcome here. Bring your fucking weapons in your Bibles here, you crazy bastards. You're welcome here. That all that had sent a stern political warning to legislators about enacting what he called severe gun restriction. You lying fucker, a severe gun restriction would have been far broader than just turning in your assault-style, military-style murder weapons. God damn, I hate these people. Anyway, you know what Mr. Van Cleve tweeted? All caps with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, with 19 exclamation points after it. This asshole tweeted, "Victory!" Victory. And when the next mass killing occurs in Virginia, and it will, when the next mass killing at a school or a synagogue or even a Christian church or a sports rally or a theater, when it occurs, I wonder if the survivors, I wonder if the families of the victims will stand up alongside Mr. Van Cleve and scream, "Victory!" What do you think? Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. You have your choice. You can listen to The Ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.